One year after Suzuki shocked the world with a motorcycle that barely worked, they came back to the same stage with something far stranger, and this time it actually ran. It was 1986, the Tokyo Motor Show again. And Suzuki unveiled the Nuda, a name almost nobody outside serious motorcycle historians remembers today. Unlike the Falcorustyco before it, which some reports claim never truly moved under its own power, the Nuda was reportedly fully operational. It could be ridden. It could be driven onto that stage under its own engine. And the engine itself wasn't experimental at all. It was pulled straight from Suzuki's own GSXR 750, the bike that had just redefined what a sport bike could be a year earlier. Liquid-cooled 4 cylinders producing a claimed 148 horsepower at nearly 13,000 revolutions per minute. But everything built around that engine was almost unrecognizable. The Nuda had no traditional frame. Like its predecessor, the engine block itself acted as the structural backbone, with simple bearer plates bolted directly onto it, supporting single-sided swing arms front and rear. And here's where it gets strange. This motorcycle sent power to both wheels. Two-wheel drive on a motorcycle in 1986, through shaft drives running to the front and rear. Suzuki claimed hydraulics were involved in that system as well, similar to the Falcorustyco a year earlier. The front end abandoned a traditional fork entirely, replaced by hub-center steering, the same fundamental concept the Italian company Bimoto was experimenting with around the same era. Instead of forks flexing under braking, the wheel pivoted from its own hub, controlled through power-assisted steering to counteract the added weight and resistance of driving that front wheel, too. The bodywork was carbon fiber, fully enclosing the mechanicals so completely that from most angles, you couldn't tell there was an engine in there at all. Just smooth, sealed surfaces, a one-piece fairing decades before that became common on production sport bikes. Inside, the instrument panel was almost as unusual as the mechanicals. An analog display reading up to 200 miles per hour and 16,000 revolutions per minute, numbers the bike's actual engine could never come close to reaching, but numbers that told you exactly what kind of future Suzuki's engineers were imagining. And the ignition wasn't a traditional key at all, it was a magnetic key, immobilizing every function of the machine until it made contact. Suzuki claimed the Nuda's aerodynamics were efficient enough to theoretically reach 175 miles an hour. Whether it was ever actually tested at that speed is something no public record seems to confirm. Motorcycle journalists at the time were stunned by how finished it looked. Not a rough prototype, a machine that appeared ready to simply roll off a production line. And for a while, some outlets speculated it might actually happen. It never did. The cost of building a two-wheel drive, hub-steered carbon fiber motorcycle at any kind of scale in the late 1980s was simply too high. The Nuda quietly disappeared from public view, the same way the Falcorustyco had the year before it. But unlike its predecessor, the Nuda didn't vanish without a trace. Some of its technology, computerized fuel injection, electronic spark timing control, eventually found its way into later production Suzuki motorcycles, hidden inside far more ordinary-looking machines. 2 motorcycles, 2 years in a row. 2 machines that Suzuki built, showed to the world, and then quietly walked away from. Was Suzuki testing ideas it never intended to sell? Or did they build 2 motorcycles that were simply too far ahead of the factories that would have needed to build them? Somewhere, reportedly still in Suzuki's own archives, the Nuda sits, a working motorcycle nobody was ever allowed to buy.